dedicated to green jobs and emergent talents, which is really nice and a pleasure to have these presentations today. This is included in this webinar is part of a very important project. I would say one of the best projects of the European Union. We are pushing very much for a circular economy and creating a large network and cooperation at the European level, bringing the discussion about this green transition, about circularity and economic development. So GEMSTONE is really a big push and have a lot of work done right now. We made some roadmaps. We opened some calls in a cascade funding model involving companies in different countries. So it's a pilot, I would say, pilot program. And today we are trying to enlarge these discussions also to other participants. And we thank you very much for you attend this webinar. We decided we choose this title about green jobs and emergent talents, trying to open here a window of discussions and some exchange of practices, good practices. And so we invited ISCTE. ISCTE is an university for management in Lisbon. And Florinda Matos has been our first contact. But unfortunately, in the last moment, she could not participate. She's an enthusiastic of this kind of work and cooperation. And of course, we work very much with this organization, and we have a lot of people that are working in team. And so Professor Fatima Sulman is also an old friend of ours, and she will integrate this presentation in a broader presentation about these green jobs and emergent talents. And so Fatima Sulman is a professor from economics in ISCTE. She has a long experience working in different groups and on a political economy department. And she has a long career working in these topics. So we believe that we'll have a very, very interesting webinar. So in the end, we will have a period for question and answers. And I hope we can get more knowledge from these discussions. Thank you very much, Professor Fatima Sulman, for your participation and the presentation. And now the floor is yours. Thank you very much. A special compliment to our partners from GEMSTONE. I was forgetting this. I'm sorry, my apologies. And so it's very good to have you all here. Thank you, Professor Fatima. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, Florinda was so upset about his constraints, but I will try my best to have a nice webinar. I've been working since long on skill needs and the varying changes in the labor market and the economy. So I hope my experience on this particular subject help and open new insights on what you are doing in this project which I think is very, very interesting. I will share a PowerPoint and start my talk. Please let me know if even during my presentation you have any doubt. Please let me know, and I will try to answer the questions. So I'm working at GEMSTONE, as Rui said, and in the Department of Political Economy, and at the Dinamia Set, which is my research center. When I was invited for this particular webinar, I was thinking about what should I say about the green skills and the talents. One of the great problem nowadays is how we can have the skills and where these skills are, especially skills that are new, sometimes difficult to specify, and who can supply this kind of skills. So my presentation is something, has this outline, talk a little bit about skill problems, and then focus on green skills, about the supply of green skills, and how to mitigate skill shortage and skill gaps that we have in general, in particular in green skills. So it is important to say that we now are facing challenges of climate change and sustainability issues, which are not only urgent, but it is about our survival as humanity. This is a key issue when we think about green skills and the sustainability agenda. So, because previous technological changes created the need for new skills, opened the questions about who will supply those new skills, who have better ability to provide them, and how our occupations and skills are changing. But nowadays, this new frame of climate change and sustainability is about our survival. So it is how we all together, as a humanity, can deal with this challenge. So the context is very different. And then what I would like to say related to skills, and in this context, skills related to organizations. Usually we have what we call skill problems. These are problems related with the demand and supply of skills. We can have a lot of skill problems, those we call skill gaps that are related to individuals. The skill shortage are related to the difficulties firms have to hire people. We have mismatch where people have more or less education and skills than the required. We have oversupply. This means we have more supply in a particular skills. So I'm not going to detail all this conceptual discussion, but we must know that when we think about skills, there are a lot of different problems, and those different problems require different answers. What we have now, as in any technological or other changes, so there are a need for skills, new skills, who will supply and who are the best providers. But since the outset, it is important to note that there is always a time gap between the skills needed in the labor market and its provision, because the providers have to learn about the skill changes, and sometimes they can anticipate, sometimes they can react to the new skill needs. Okay, but now we have a great problem. The sustainability cannot wait. So it put pressures on stakeholders to urgently supply and develop those required skills. As I said, we have our heart is in danger, and we have to pursue the well-being agenda. We have to guarantee the well-being agenda of the population, which has degrees and rules of consuming and norms, different norms about well-being. We have to guarantee the competitiveness of firms, but in a world where the commitment and understanding of the sustainability agenda are different, and as now we are seeing in the last days, there are political skepticism versus engagement with the green agenda. So it is a complex context that calls not only awareness, engagement, but especially visible outcomes. These are the context and the motivation behind the green skills agenda that I'm going to talk about. So, first question is, what are the green skills? As I said, I'm not going to detail because there are a lot of checklists of green skills, but generally speaking, green skills involve knowledge, skills, and abilities required to develop and to support a sustainable and resource efficient society. So the crucial issues are here, the sustainability of the environment and how we can transit from a low carbon to a resource and a low carbon and resource efficient economy. Here we are especially trying to reduce the use of some sources of energy and use those available with efficiency. This kind of discussion of the requirements affect all occupations, some directly, as in agriculture, industry, and service, but in other occupations, people must learn about these environmental challenges. So we have some green skills that are general to all society, and others that are specific to economic activities like agriculture, industry, service, and so on. So, as I said, I'm not going to list, if I need to list all the general skills, the green skills, it will be impossible to do this in 1 hour. So generally, we have general skills, green skills that all people, we all should know about the environmental issues, how to use, to manage sustainability, avec sustainability, the resources, have efficiency of energy practices, reduce and recycle the products in order to reduce the waste, deal with climate change, and adapt and try to mitigate them. So children, young people, adults, everyone should learn about how to contribute individually and collectively to economize energy and other resources using them efficiently. If this kind of argument seems obvious, it's difficult to implement, and we can see it in our daily, in routine tasks. It's sometimes difficult for us to change our mindset. The next question is about specific industries and the green skills linked to the economy. So we have the technical skills, those we can say the foundation skills related to high skilled jobs like engineering and technological driven sectors, in agriculture, in industry, in construction, in services. So we have all skills related to these different sectors that require a high degree diploma, namely high education degree. But we have technical skills that are non-graduate. And in our context, with the massification of higher education, this kind of occupations requiring non-graduate occupation are very, very important to reduce wastes, to increase efficiency, but it is difficult to attract people for this graduate. So it involves manual work with ecosystems, but it is more related to non-graduate occupations and the technical skills linked to non-graduate occupations. We have also soft skills. So this traditional divide between technical skills and soft skills is very important in any context. But what is my understanding is that nowadays, of course, soft skills are very important, but the great issue is about the technical skills, both graduate and non-graduate. And between this technical and soft skill, we have the values of commitment with the environmental care and managing resources efficiently without waste. This is a value that can be transmitted to all people, but it is also very important in the economic sectors in varying degrees and calling for different types of commitment. So, as for the green skills, we can then understand these 4 things related to green skills: the technical skills related to graduate and non-graduates, the soft skills, and especially the values. But this is very important. However, we have a lot of skill shortages. The studies underline in European and the European countries and the United States, where we have shortages related to graduate and non-graduate occupations. And this is very interesting, how we can implement an agenda with such skills shortages that affect the core of the implementation of the green agenda. And we have some examples here. As you can see, this affect generally industries and services. So, looking at these skill shortages, and especially they are very specific in some countries. The countries have made investments to collect the data and to discuss these shortages. This raises one question: if our stakeholders are trying to build up update the information about the required skills and about the skill shortage in a specific industry, occupation, country, or region. Because without this updated and specific data, it's not possible to work in order to reduce these skill problems and face efficiently the agenda. I have here two examples. One example of information. I don't know if you know about this. We have what we call the ONET network. It is about the description of skills, and I would like to share with you one example. So I will open this. I hope you can see. This is a data set of occupations where you can search here. Are you seeing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can search here, put the name of the or some words, and you can search you can search the occupation. I will put here one example in occupations. Okay. Okay, as you can see, you have, for instance, I will open this one, sustainability specialist. So you can learn from here which kind of skills you can you need, what this kind what people do in this occupation, the tasks, the technological skills, what they do specifically, what are the requirements, more detailed activities, the concepts, the training, etc. The specification of skills, the education level, abilities, the work values, everything here you can, and what are the employment condition, wages, etc. So you can see in this website, you can learn about the required skills in what we can call green occupations. Okay, I will close this. Oh, where is my... Okay, so if you are interested, you can go to this data set, and as we have seen, one example that you can explore and learn about the specific occupations related to green skills. In UK, you have also a skill survey made I think is every 2 years, and they provide information about the skills required by employers. What are my message here? It's one, we are concerned with the green skills and the development of talents that can implement the green agenda. We need to know first what kind of skills are required, second, if they are available or not, and all this should have an outcome that is an updated information that can help the providers and the firms about skill problems and skill needs. So my second part is about, okay, now we know that there are a set of skills, there are green skills. It includes different types, technical, softs, and value. We have skill shortages, but how we are going to tackle these skill problems, and who are the best supplier? My main argument is that all the stakeholders are responsible to give an answer to this great challenge. Not only education and training institutions, not only firms, but we should have the engagement of policymakers and also of individuals and families, because they are all important, as we are going to see. Okay? While we know that education and training institutions can provide training, education and training in such kind of skills, it's obvious for us, but it's not so much. Firms can do continuous training inside the policy of training. We have to change the minds of individuals and families to go to occupation that are required but that are not attractive at this stage. So, first, the role of the universities. Of course, we have when we think about skills, we think education and training. Let's see the universities. Motivation should be to prepare graduates for this sustainable world. How they are doing this? We have some initiatives like the Global University Leader Council that consider the role of universities and their leader to face this challenge of climate change and sustainability. So they think they are responsible for prepare the future generations of employees, the young people, that for this challenge of climate change and how they should cope with the sustainable development. Okay, so this is a commitment of the universities toward this new challenge. But as an academic, I've seen in my university and at other universities, there are a lot of focuses of education programs and research on sustainability. We have specific master courses, not only ecological, but economic and social sustainability and climate change. We have researchers doing research on these topics. So we have education programs and research on these topics. And we have some curricular units that all students should acquire to have a specific awareness on the sustainability issues. So at the higher education level, we have a broad commitment of a set of universities. We have inside each faculty education programs and research for this kind of issues. So we saw at the universities a commitment toward this agenda, including the curricular units, a small piece of training to all students. Another issue is about how higher education can work with the economy. Let me say before this, when I talk about this kind of initiatives, I'm separating since the beginning a broad approach and then the economic approach. At the level of economic approach, one of the main issue is whether and how higher education is collaborating with the business. Okay. And if you have seen some critics toward higher education, is that they continue to be ivory towers. This means they are unable to become closer to firms. But it is not really like that. Okay. I have made some research about this kind of blames, and what I realize is that there are varying degrees of collaboration. Okay, if we think about universities, the universities have their agenda, academic agenda, but we have different higher education institutions that can be more closer to the firms. These are polytechnics, for example. And the university themselves are also coming closer to the business, but they cannot lose their academic autonomy. So there are different ways to see these blames, and the reality is varying with more or less closeness between higher education and the business. Beside this, we can see that we have something that can facilitate this collaboration. From the employer sides, from the firms, it's important to have accurate and updated information on skill needs. The higher education need this information, but it cannot build it itself. They can have research about skills need in the economy, but the employers should also have their information on skill needs. The employers have to find out suitable partners. Which kind of higher education institutions are more attractive to this collaboration? Or inside a university, which kind of departments or research centers can become closer and open to this collaboration with the business. So it is important to explore who can be the suitable partners. In this context, personal contacts are very important because when we know someone, it is easier to start an engagement. It is easier to talk with someone and explain our needs. The geographical proximity is very, very important because in small towns, all people know each other. And it is important for the business to have a partner in a closer higher education institution. What is very, very, very important, particularly in the case of Portugal, and not only Portugal, where we have a lot of small and medium firms, it is important to create what we can call the brokers, those who can help to build bridge between the business and the education and training systems. We find we were studying with my colleagues in the context of a project the multi-stakeholder partnerships that of Famalicão made in, and what we found is that this kind of partnerships can bring together firms, training, education and training systems, other partners to try to not only to mitigate skill problems, but also to create competitiveness in the region. Okay, so we have the Famalicão Made in. It's a multi-stakeholder partnership. It was created by the local municipality, and it is working, trying to build the bridges between the various stakeholders interested in competitiveness and in mitigation of skill problems. We have another stakeholders partners is the COE. It was created in the context of the Catalyst project, an Erasmus Mass project. We call it Future Skill Factory. Is a center of vocational excellence, where Florinda is the coordinator of the project, and my colleagues in this group are also partners of this project. So it is to create a center where we can learn about the skill needs and how to provide bridges between the skill providers and skills users. So I think it's very important to have this kind of brokers or institutions that make the interface between the different stakeholders engaged in this problem of skill problems and the motivation to mitigate them. But firms has also something to say and something to do regarding the issue of skill problems. When we study the firms, we can see that we have firms that we can say they are buyers, others that are makers. What this means? Some firms prefer to hire ready-to-work candidates, others are interested in training their employees. So the firms with training policies very well developed, they prefer hire what we can say ready-to-learn candidates. What this means, they are not searching for people that are ready for the job. They are searching for people that will learn in the job. And usually they try to hire people with higher degrees because they assume that they will learn easily. These kind of firms are large firms, of course, and have enough financial and human resources to implement a training strategy. That training strategy was designed properly to cope with skill problems. The others, the firms that are buyers of skills, they want to hire ready-to-work candidates. And what they do, blame higher education for their skill problems and ill preparation of candidates to their jobs. So there are not a single solution, of course, but the mix of skills the firms need involves that higher education can supply general skills and specialized qualification, and employers should provide training to build up specific skills. Now we have the major role of policymakers. So policymakers have a lot to do with this green agenda. And regarding the training and the skills for the green agenda, they obviously they have to promote and support partnership between higher education and the business. Because when we think about the partnerships are costly. The firms need people engaged in this and available to this, but this involves costs for the firms. So some firms that I have talked with, they said about some financial support from the policymakers to implement this partnership between education and the business. But the policymakers have a huge problem because young people, they either want to pursue higher education, but not in the field that we need, where we have shortages, and have to encourage people to proceed non-graduate education. I think this is the more complex problem, not only in Portugal, but in countries where the massification of higher education was very high, because people goes to higher education to have a diploma, and we saw that we continue to have shortage in engineering, in STEM, and medical qualifications. So we have a lot of high education occupation requiring high education with shortages, and on the other side we have a lot of non-graduate occupations that are not attractive to our young people. So this, I think, is a major issue for the democratic countries, because people and families think that higher education is a driver of social mobility. Nowadays, it is not being a driver of social mobility. We need also a supply of vocational training to overcome skills problems, make vocational training more attractive, and especially help families to guide their young people regarding the educational choices. I think it is important to work with families, not only to engage more female young people in STEM and engineering and other technical fields of education, but also help them to go to non-graduate education and pursue technical and non-graduate jobs. Finally, this is only possible if we promote the dignity of the labor, showing that all work is required in the society, is crucial to the society, and not only the ones that we think are more decent or more attractive. So my final notes go to some points that the green skills are effective, a great challenge, and we need skill providers and skill developers. When I say providers, means education and training systems, and developers are the firms and individuals themselves, and should engage all the stakeholders. As I said at the beginning, it is urgent to understand this context and implement dedicated policies. And this is the job of all stakeholders, and in a very, very short time. I think it's useful for the economy to create a data center on skill needs at industry or regional industry occupation level. And more importantly, and I think it's very, very important, these are green jobs involves graduate and non-graduates. So the graduates green jobs lacks, there are shortage because of the undersupply of some fields of education. The non-graduates, the shortage related to non-graduates is because of the social prestige. So the dignified works means acknowledging the intrinsic value of the work and the intrinsic quality of job, an improvement of the quality of job that is major challenges, especially for the employers and policymakers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. So Fatima, for this very clear presentation. I think you organized the presentation in a very interesting way, bringing the identification about what we are talking about when we are talking about green jobs. There are, of course, a lot of fields that we could try to discuss in this context, especially when we have to face the emergent technologies like artificial intelligence and other technologies, digital technologies, of course. So I think now is good to have here a space for questions. And I open here a space for some questions. Please raise your hand and take the chance to put your questions. It's always difficult to have the first one. Of course, I have several, but I don't want to be the first. No one can. We have one, Laura. Laura, please.
You are muted.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Fatima, for your presentation. All the questions that arise to me were actually answered in your speech, and I agree with Rui that it was well structured and interesting, and a lot of things were also, how to say, I think in other countries we face similar challenges, but I was thinking a lot while participating in several conferences where we meet the different stakeholders, but especially like university representatives and also the companies. And I was wondering, do you also have a similar problem in Portugal regarding the fact that usually these accreditation periods for the programs that are developed sometimes are for like a specific amount of time, and until the universities can actually realize them, the skills are like the needs of the skills are changing so fast that these programs, they kind of are there for a couple of years, but to renew them, how to say, the system is so like complicated that you always make like these discussions with between the universities and entrepreneurs, but in the end you cannot like still arrive to this point of developing these new programs, same as like Rui just mentioned about the artificial intelligence, because let's say until university will finish this program will pass another 4 years, and to make the new study program it takes like so much time. How do you think it's is there like some solution that could be made, or is it, in your opinion, like a change of even the educational system? Like, what can be done? Because I see it as a big problem.
Mm-hmm. Probably one or two questions, and then I can ask Rui, what do you think?
Great. So I think is good. So there is more questions. I have two. I have two. One is that normally, and more we are working when we work with companies. We are facing two main approaches. One is competitiveness, which is the most important for the companies, and this means that the conscience of the need of training or of skills in specific areas is arising not in a very structured way, meaning that companies normally they understand the push of the market because clients are demanding specific needs that most of the time companies does not have, and we have several examples, and the companies normally don't know how to deal with that. And so this can be a problem, is how, and we talk a little bit about this, how we can fulfill the gap between the needs of the market, of the clients, and the capacity of the companies to develop these competencies and these skills to support them, or to say you are wrong, this is not possible, because sometimes it happens. The second question is, we are in a period of buzzwords and fashion about green, about circularity, and everybody is confusing most of the time about what is fashion and what is the real need of the companies to improve their competitiveness. And this is really tricky because we as a research center, we participate in a lot of research projects with companies and universities to try to develop new skills, to anticipate them, to standardize, to structure new knowledge, you know. But the problem is, most of the time, the companies, they don't have the conscience of these needs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand me? So there is here also a gap between the ones that develop the new competency and the new skills and the understanding of the need of these competencies. And in the end of the day, the problem is that this don't allow this to accelerate new competencies, because the workers, they don't want to come to have a training in something that they don't understand the urgency of the need. And the owners of the companies, they don't want to pay a training that is not directly with their competitiveness in that moment. So this is not really a question, it's more a reflection, because we face this every day. So we have already some new trainings to provide to the industry and to the workers. But when we open this new training, sometimes we don't have the procurement of this training and interest of the companies because they don't understand this need. Do you understand me?
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to comment these two main issues.
So thank you for your comments and questions. I think I don't have definite answers, but we'll think with you about how to cope with this. So I will start with the issue that Laura raised. This is a great problem. Once I was talking with a human resource manager, and he told me that the universities are responsible for the perception they created in the labor market that universities will provide ready-to-use workers, ready-to-work candidates. Here is what kind of skills should higher education provide to their graduates, and whether this should be aligned or not with the business. I have reading some papers that this issue is it started in 1960s. Which kind of skills should education produce? And it is important until now in 2025. My idea is that the complementarity between education system and firms, it's very, very important, not only to talk about, is to implement properly. Because we have a lot of firms, we made an inquiry to the firms, and they said, we want to train our employees. Okay, so I think the higher education should develop deeply the education, the skills that help people to learn easily, because the changing skills and it is so fast that it's impossible for universities or for the firms to provide this kind of skills. So the better is provide people with learning skills, and firms assume their responsibility to provide training in specific skills. So please don't ask higher education to provide specific skills. It's almost impossible. It can provide specialized qualifications, not specific skills. Now we come to the firms. Okay, firms, how can they cope with a market that is putting pressures and develop skills to respond to those pressures? Rui, I think it is very important to have a good information on skills, but it is very costly and difficult. It's why I show you some that data sets on net, occupational network, that can help firms to see what they are saying and how they can use the available information to create easily or at least less costly their own information. Okay, because is we need information. We need data sets with information on skills, but these are very costly, very time consuming, and will be never updated. Okay, but they can give us an idea, a general idea of the needs, especially the qualifications, probably not specific skills. And there is an additional issue that we are not discussing here, that if we see the labels of skills, the labels are the same, but the content is different. What is nowadays communication and what was communication 20 years before? We are always talking about communication, but communication is different. Teamwork is different. So I don't have an answer for your for your problems and to challenge you are facing, but there are some kind of information that you can use and have some idea of what skills are important. And if one employee wants to do a training that is not directly linked to the job, I think it's good to provide to allow it to do this training, because later this can improve something that was unexpected.
Very, very, very interesting. We have been discussing also about this because in Portugal, and I believe in all Europe, we have these training models that are recognized, they are certified, but they are not sexy for the attendees. And so it's very difficult when you have some financial support from the programs that make the need to use those kind of models only, and you cannot change the label of the skills to be developed. Normally we have a problem because we have the identification of the needs, we have the financing of the programs, but we cannot achieve the market because they don't understand training models that have names that are not consistent with the actuality. So this is really a problem, and you touch that very, very, very well. So I think we are coming to the end of this webinar. I don't know if someone have some questions, additional question. If not, I thank you very much, Fatima Sulman, for your presentation. And now I open the window to the manager of GEMSTONE project, Loïc Marin. C'est un plaisir de vous avoir ici. And now I pass the word to Loïc to close the session. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Rui, for the floor. First of all, I'm very sorry not to have been able to follow the entire webinar, but I'm sure that the discussion was super interesting, and I can see that the participant, I'm sure that the participant will come back to their place with new knowledge, very interesting, that they will be able to share with their colleagues. I want to conclude some words about GEMSTONE, but first of all, some words about Christina and Rui. I want to thank you for the amazing work that you have done for the organization of these webinars since 2 years now. These webinars, if I'm not wrong, was the last European webinar to organize. So thank you for this great work. I'm really happy to work with you in this project, and I'm already really happy to work with you in the next project that will follow very soon. So in GEMSTONE, the topics of skills and training was one of the 3 main topics. As you all know, we have worked on this subject since 2 years now in order to provide documents and knowledge to our ecosystem. Especially, we have funded training projects across Europe. This project represents several thousands of euros, so it was possible to fund this project thanks to the European Commission and to the specific Eurocluster program. So I'm very happy to have worked with all of you. We have seen that this skills and jobs and talents topics is very important for the companies in order to get more familiar and to get acquainted with the digital and green transition. I'm sure that we are going to follow this work all together. And once again, thank you for the organization of these webinars, of this very interesting discussion. And let's see what's next with the next opportunity of collaboration together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Thank you very much again. And thank you to you all. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.